Hey folks, and welcome back to Glenn and Adrian's Rock Talk. That's Adrian.
And that's Glenn.
And today we are returning to a band that we've done a couple of times before, touched on them, haven't gotten a lot of views, but honestly, I think they're an amazing band. I think we both liked them, actually. Amazing players playing with this guy. DarWin is his name. We don't know what his real name is. That is an anonymous, pseudonymous name, and we don't know the actual name of the person, but he's working with Simon Phillips, the drummer, the famous drummer, Mohini Dey, which is an insanely talented bass player from India, and Howe, an amazing guitar player. All of these guys are just virtuosos, and they play kind of hard rock, and I don't understand why they're not really catching on. I know they haven't toured yet. They've just been putting out songs here and there over the last year or two. I would just like to see what they did. They just dropped this new video for a song called Man vs. Machine. I don't really know anything about it, but I think that it's going to be worth the watch. So, Adrian, do you remember anything about DarWin before?
I remember the name DarWin, and I remember I was impressed with it.
Yeah, it was all like within the studio. Some of the stuff was done via Zoom, recorded via Zoom. So we saw, say, Greg in his apartment playing the guitar parts there. But Mohini and Simon were together, bass and drums, in the studio with DarWin himself. Whoever he may be. It's definitely something along the prog rock realm for those of you just trying to get a handle on it, okay? So why don't we go ahead and look at this, and we'll see what we think about it. We'll talk about it afterwards. All right, let's check it out. Wow, a fade out. We don't hear those very often these days. What'd you think, Adrian?
Yeah, I remember more about it now that I've heard it. Yeah, those vocals, the way the guy layers those vocals is impressive.
Yeah, I like that. And he does that with pretty much every song, and I think it works great.
Yeah, it's his trademark, I think.
Yeah.
Is these layers of vocals. Also, I was pretty impressed to see the keyboardist, all the keyboards that were around him. There must have been 9 or 10 of them or something.
Yeah, and vintage stuff, a lot of it looked like. Yeah. Or maybe newer models that are, emulating the vintage stuff. I noticed that it seems like Moog in particular is putting out a lot of brand new keyboards that are based on very old keyboards, which is cool. But I felt a little bad for the keyboardist. Now, I'm a keyboardist too, that. But there was kind of a funny thing that happened the last time I was over at church. The father came over. He was on a FaceTime with a young relative of his, just showing him the band and say, this is Glenn on the board, having me play a little bit there. And he's looking at it and like, that's kind of cool. But then he's like, where's the guitar player? You're like, oh yeah, okay, we'll go over here. Like, much more fascinating to watch people on the guitar. And by that token, I felt a little bad for this keyboard player because, he looked like he had a great little setup. And of course he's important to the song, but I mean, the strings going on in this song are just blowing everything else away. I mean, Greg Howe, that lead guitarist, holy mackerel, is he amazing. And of course, Mohini Dey on bass. I mean, good Lord. She's amazing as well. Not only in DarWin, but we've also featured her, I think, in a couple other videos where she was, one was Steve Vai, I remember was one of them. There might have been another one, but she's fantastic. She's so good. And,
the name Mohini Dey sounds familiar to me, too.
Yeah, we've looked at her a few times on the channel, and so definitely worthwhile. Keyboardist's name was Derek Sherinian, okay? And other than that, we had, it says Matt Bissonette on vocals, and then Greg was the one that played that ferocious solo at the end. I mean, it just brings me right back to the 80s, too, like when Joe Satriani made records, or you know what I mean? Like one of those types of things, but much more interesting. Honestly, I mean, I liked those records. I mean, Satriani, there were some others, Steve Vai, and it's like they might have like one good song, but after that, I get kind of bored. But not with this group. This group is always interesting to me. And that was really, really cool. So we'll put it up. We'll see what our viewers think of it this time. See if we can get it up over a couple hundred views. Yeah, folks, why don't you let us know what you thought of this? If you've ever heard of the band before, if you've ever heard of any of the people in the band before. I mean, Simon Phillips on drums, he's shown up in a lot of projects over the years, over the course of the last 4.5 decades. So, yeah, would be interested to get your thoughts on it. And if you have other suggestions for us, please leave those below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you enjoyed our presentation, please subscribe. All right. Thanks so much for joining us on this. We will catch you on the next one. All right. Take care, folks.
See you all later.